Hello everyone and welcome to Club Preview here on Club at 22, the Rangers podcast, where the B team will be looking back at the game down in Anfield on Tuesday night there and also looking to preview the game against St Mirren at Ibrox tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Before I introduce my guest, can we just like to give a shout out to Dundee Taylor, who very kindly bought the pod 3 coffees and the Buy Me a Coffee link that you can see on our YouTube page. Very much appreciated, Dundee, and appreciate everyone when they do things like that. But as I say, B team this evening, fairly short panel, or small panel, should I say? But we'll introduce him. It's Mr. Alistair Pearson. How are things with you, Elliot?
Very well. Looking forward to being back at Ibrox tomorrow. If you're the B team, Scotia, I must be Alex Lowry in that B team then. I don't know who you'd be in the B team.
Leon King's now in the first team, isn't he? So,
well, because he's a defender, Scotia. But
yeah,
I know you gave a shout out
these days.
Yeah, I know you gave a shout out to the Dundee Taylor. I was also going to give a shout out, Scotia. We forgot. John from the Viceroy kindly bought us a round, which we didn't realise until it was put in front of us last weekend. So, thanks very much for that, John. You didn't need to do that, so we'll need to buy you one back when we see you there. So, aye, onwards and upwards, Scotia. It looks like Scotia's frozen.
Yes.
Are you there?
Indeed.
Get your dad cycling that bike quicker, Scotia. You keep freezing.
Sorry about that, guys. I'm having some internet issues. Can you still hear me, Elliot?
I can hear you, but
it's not starting well because I'm controlling all the recording and stuff. Yeah, no worries. Right. Hopefully it'll improve as we go on, guys. Apologies for that. Yeah, but I think we'll start off with the game down at Anfield on Tuesday night where Rangers went 2-0 down to Liverpool. Ali, I was with you in the pub watching the game on Tuesday night. Just give us your kind of outline thoughts of the night just now, if you won't mind.
Aye, it's a tough one. You need to remember who you're playing. I mean, at Liverpool are a class team. You can tell the way they move the ball, the players they've got. I mean, that front four, if you want to say what they had playing against us, is frightening. But I would say in our behalf, I was disappointed in us. I thought we were just a bit negative. I thought we were overwhelmed by the occasion. I thought it looked like men against boys. And you can kind of see why down in England they think up here is a bit of a diddy league, because they would look to that game and see that and go, he's never lay a glove on them until the last maybe 10 minutes when we kind of changed it. But I deep down in my heart, I know I said one each, deep down I knew we'd get beat, to be honest, but it was a manner of it. I thought we could show more, and I don't think we did. A lot of players we just couldn't hold the ball. We played Steve Davis for that very reason, to try and put the foot in the ball and try and bring a bit of composure. Couldn't get involved. I don't want to go through players, but I'll start with one player who you'll know, Scotia, that annoyed me extremely in the pub. I know Carney and Ryan had a go on that as well, but Malik Tillman, for me, when I seen him in the lineup, I went, oh God, because I said before, I just can't trust this guy in big games. He's all right against, dare I say it, St Mirren at the weekend, hopefully, but big games, you've seen him against Celtic, his post is missing all the time. His body language, whether it's his body language, he just comes across as he can't be bothered, he looks lazy, but he, for me, needs a serious kick up the arse, because it's not good enough, especially that midfield. You need energy in there, and he just wasn't there. But overall, it's what I expected, to be honest. But I know we can show more, and coming into Wednesday next week, to me, he's got to change it. He's got to have a go, because it's really win or bust in terms of the third place in that league table.
Yeah, I mean, you bring up a lot of points there, Ali, that, as you usually do, and we will get...
Might as well be through them all. In case your Wi-Fi stopped there, Scotia, that's why I was doing it.
That's probably very fair, actually, very fair. But no, it looks like we've got over that wee hump in the road there. Yeah, I'm similar. It's a bit frustrating at the evening. Maybe went in with too much confidence, particularly because I've got my wee brother's a Liverpool fan, got a few pals that are Liverpool fans, so you're hoping for the best and show up. But we'll dig into this one. But we started up with McGregor in goals, Tav, King, Goldson, Davies and Borna in the defence with midfield. Strange midfield in terms of how we were shaping up for the game, but it was, could be a 4 at times, could be a 2-2s. So with Tillman, Lundstrom, Davis and Kent, and then Morelos kind of up top on his own with support from Kent and Tillman occasionally. But we kind of looked at that when we were in the pub, Ali, and we a bit surprised by it, if you're being honest.
Yeah. Bringing King in, I could see what he's doing because he wanted Lundstrom in the middle of the park. I thought the defence was decent, to be fair. It's a midfield for me. It's an area of the park that we go back to recruitment, but we've not identified it at all. You're going back to guys, and it's no disrespect, but you're going back to guys. Steve Davis, 37 years of age, bring it in to try and run the show at Anfield. These positions, I know I'm kind of going off script here a wee bit, but these positions should have been highlighted well over a year ago, and it's coming back to haunt us a bit this season because even against Hearts, we bypassed the midfield, and I thought Anfield once again they just couldn't get a grips with it. They just couldn't put the foot in the ball, and we're missing big players. Tom Lawrence, a huge miss. He would have made a difference, and dare I say it, Scotia, your man Hadji. Don't know what he's going to come back in terms of what sort of player, but he's the type of player we're missing as well.
Yeah, I mean, on the lineup itself, I mean, I was a wee bit surprised. I did think King was going to play at Anfield, but that was before Davies got put into the team against Hearts at the weekend. And then I was like, all right, maybe not. We'll just play with that. The normal 2 defenders with Lundstrom dropping back in when he was needed. But playing King, I could see the logic behind that. Yeah, Tillman in the right for me. I was like, nah, it's not really.
He's not a right-sided player. That's not his position.
He's not, and yeah. Well, yeah, so we start off. You get into these games hoping that you'll start off well. Within 2 minutes, Liverpool have their first chance with big Darwin Núñez, who we know all about from his time at Benfica. He has a wee shot at goal, but McGregor saves it quite easily with anything. And then from that leading corner, which I thought we were pretty good at all night, apart from right till the very end, we were pretty good at dealing with the corners. Davies knocks it over. But then in 5 minutes, Davies fouls, makes a foul on the outside, just outside the box. Trent Alexander-Arnold steps up. He's not been playing great this season, from what I've heard.
Oh, Justin, honestly, Justin,
done it again
every week.
Again, Justin, thank you very much, Justin. Thank you so much for that. Really appreciated. But yeah, Alexander-Arnold with the free kick here. Pearson, he's not been playing great from what I've been reading, what I've seen of him. But this is kind of set up for him, isn't it?
Yeah, I know we kind of discussed in the pub, Scotia, could McGregor have done better because you know he's going to put in that corner, but looking at it again, it's picking holes in it to say McGregor should have saved that, to be honest. It was a great free kick. It wasn't what we needed. We had to try and keep that game as tight as possible, and you kind of knew when he stepped up that Trent Alexander, although he's maybe not been playing great for Liverpool at the moment, but he's still a world-class player, and he showed it with that free kick. How many free kicks has he scored for them? It's like Tav, but Tav doesn't score free kicks for us anymore, does he? When he steps up, Trent Alexander, you expect him to score, and he did. I know Carney said he thought McGregor maybe could have done better. We did say similar in the pub, to be honest, but when I look back at it, you're probably nitpicking, to be honest, to that. It's a great goal, to be honest.
Yeah, where you're looking at it, he's that far over because he's got that the wall was I think there was like 5 men in the wall, so it's quite a big wall, and he leaves that space. I did say right as it hit, I was like, we could maybe do maybe a touch inside, but it's like you say, he's got that in his locker at the moment. He's almost like one of these American football players that you bring on just for that one speciality. At the minute that you get the chance, he can do it. Yeah, and it was in about 10 minutes after that. In between that, McGregor makes another really a good save from Salah. But 10 minutes on from that, we get a wee bit of play up in the Liverpool defence end of the pitch. Kent was found and fouled after a decent wee spell where I think it was Morelos and Tillman out on the right-hand side. Knocked over. Tav played a really loose ball that I thought the chance was completely gone after that. Ball finds its way back out to Kent. Kent gets fouled, and then, like you say, Tav steps up. Could he score? No, straight in at the wall, and then Kent sclaffs his shot way over. And you know what? Ally, this is 17 minutes in. It's our first chance. We're looking. I thought, we could maybe still show a bit, but for the next to be honest, the rest of the half, it was just Liverpool domination, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was we got the free kick, and obviously Tav steps up, and you have that wee kind of glimmer of hope. You think, Christ, is he going to bust the net here? And he hits the wall. It kind of shows the difference in levels between him and Trent Alexander, to be honest. But that first half, Scotia, we couldn't control it. It was like a hot potato, that ball. We just couldn't get the foot on or anything. If we try to get the ball up the park, Morelos couldn't make it stick. Even if he did kind of win a loose ball, the midfield weren't winning the second ball, and it just kept coming back. And if it wasn't for 40-year-old Alan McGregor once again in the goal, it could have been a cricket score at the first half. And we both said Scotia at half time. The only positive is it's only 1-0.
No, true indeed. Yes, that takes us to half time. And right, we're going to speak about 3 players here. I think you've brought him up here, so we may as well just go on him. But how good was Alan McGregor last Tuesday night there? Showing us what he's all about.
He's made for big games, Alan McGregor. Once again, showed it. I thought he was brilliant. He came for a couple of cross balls as well, actually. So I know Ryan says that's a myth, this Alan McGregor thing, but he actually came for a couple of cross balls. He was very good, Alan McGregor, and I think Gio before that game alluded to the fact that he sat the two of them down, him and McLaughlin, and basically said McGregor's going to be the number one going forward. And it's an area we need to address. I know you'll probably come on to something later on the podcast, but it's an area we need to start looking at going forward, because as great as Alan McGregor is, he is 40 years of age. I very much doubt it he'll be there next season. I thought as well, I'll hold my hands up, that McLaughlin could fill those boots as the Rangers number one. And what I seen McLaughlin before he got injured, I've said it on the podcast before, I just don't think he's up to it. And that's why Alan McGregor's had to be brought back in. And since he's been in, McGregor, you have to say he's been absolutely outstanding.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I was same as you. I was quite comfortable with McLaughlin being in. I do think, and I've said this on a few occasions in the last month or so, that having McGregor sign that contract extension probably didn't help McLaughlin very much. But he had that really bad game against Celtic. Slightly poor against Ajax as well, and he was doing okay up until that point. But I think he doesn't command. He's not got that commanding presence that McGregor maybe does, or definitely does, should I say? And I don't know if potentially sort of Goldson and Tav have maybe spoke to the management team about it and just said something along the lines of that they feel more comfortable with McGregor finding them. I did think he was done after last season, although he was good and good few good matches. There was poor performances in there, and performances that cost us vital points in the league last season as well. But when he's come in now this season, and yeah, the gloves are now his to lose, really. There is, as you mentioned, we'll come on to the new McCrory deal later on in the podcast, and again, we'll probably speak more about the goalkeeper situation in general. But we may as well come to this man as well, who you mentioned at the very start in your kind of summary of the game. It was big Malik Tillman. Right, I know what you were saying there about him, and I get why people are so frustrated with him, but he's not a right winger.
No,
he can't play out in the right wing. His position's inside.
He should be central. He should be central. Yeah.
But this is a similar issue that I had when Hadji was getting put out on the right hand side. Although I think Hadji had performed better out there than Tillman has shown so far, but they're better centrally. And it is also, like you say, the way that he approaches the game and plays the game. It does look very lazy. I don't think it is lazy. I just think it's his demeanour and stuff that I know an awful lot of people don't like to see. Tillman didn't have the best of games. I watched the game back earlier on today, but I think a lot of the criticism he was receiving was potentially maybe down one to that laziness aspect that he looks like he plays his game with, and also the fact that he's got this big price tag from Bayern Munich that I think automatically people are expecting, oh, he's amazing. The boy only turned 20 on Tuesday. You've got to remember. So I've got a wee bit of leeway for Tillman because he's just in the door and whatnot, but I do understand why people get on his back. If you get anything more to add on Tillman, I know he's not your favourite player at the moment.
He's not my favourite, no. But no, I get everything you say. He's not a right-sided player. And as you say, we've tried umpteen bloody players out on this right-hand side. For me, we need to give Matondo or even Sakala at a point, somebody who's more naturally a winger on that side, a go and give them a run at it, not bring them in for a game and then pull them out for 2-3 games. Whoever it is, whoever is going to pick, let's just say Matondo, he's got to give them a run of games. And the run of games we've got coming up in the league in particular, Rabbi Matondo should be able to play every one of those games against the teams we're playing. There's no slippery games, I would say, until we meet potentially away at Aberdeen. But yeah, Tillman, that's probably his body language, to be honest, which annoys a lot of people because it just looks like he is a very lazy player. And he is at times because he won't track back or anything. He is kind of one of these luxury players, if you want to say. He started his Rangers career very well in the first couple of games. We were all raving about him because there's a player there. He is quality, but he's just, whether his confidence has been knocked or I don't know what it is, but he's kind of went backwards and he's becoming. Rangers fans like a whipping boy, don't we? He could fall into that wee camp soon because unless he gives us a big performance soon, the fans will get on his back, and they have. So, we'll come on to the teams for St Mirren, but I'll give you a spoiler straight away. He's in my team because if he can't play against St Mirren on a Saturday at 3 o'clock, then we have got big problems with him. But no, I'll give him a wee bit more time. But at the moment, he is frustrating. That's probably the word to say.
One final thing in Tillman, and it leads me on to another player that we may as well discuss, given his form recently. He wasn't helped by how poor Tav was. I thought Tav had a really poor game by his own standards, and it didn't help Tillman. But to me, it still looks like Tav's playing with that a wee bit with that injury. I don't know what you think.
He's not been great, Tav, but you could go through a couple of players, Scotia, who haven't been hitting the heights of last season, if you want to say, in terms of in Europe. Bigger players. He's not. I'd say Tav's been a kind of 6 or 7 out of 10 each week. He's never blown me away at all. But whether he's carrying injury or not, I don't know. But yeah, him and Tillman down that right side, they don't work for me. They don't have an understanding either. But I get what you're saying in terms of Tav, but he could be carrying injury for all we know. But he's going to play Tav regardless because he's a captain, and the only guy we've got to bring in is young Devine, because we let go of Zabowski. So
we can get onto that when we come to our teams day for St Mirren potentially. But I realise we're 18 minutes in and we've not even got to the second half, and I was worrying that we wouldn't have enough content for you guys tonight. So we better get into the second half. We get into the second half, no changes, and we break up the park almost immediately. But then Kent plays a really, really poor pass across the front of goal that is to no one really. And 2 minutes after that, Liverpool are in the box, and then King and Lundstrom go in. I think it was Lundstrom that was with him, go in for a challenge on Diaz. King takes him out. No complaints from me that was a penalty or not. It definitely was. And yes, Salah nets it away. 51 minutes, we're 2-0 down. I went into that second half with a wee bit of hope, but that completely blew me out of the water. Don't know about you, Ali.
Yeah. 2-0 in a normal game, you think we've still got a chance, but against Liverpool at Anfield and the way we were playing, with no out ball, it was game over for me. Felt sorry for King. It's a stonewall penalty, but he was still very good, though, young King, for a boy of his age to play at Anfield in the Champions League. Reminded me of kind of like a Danny Wilson back in the day when he played Champions League for Rangers. I thought he played well for a boy of his age. Yeah, I thought he played well, and you can see he's got a big future with this Rangers backline going forward. But at 2-0, the game's dead for me.
Yeah, I mean, let's take a break there from the even. We're only 6 minutes into the second half, but I think King worthy of some discussion as well, because I thought I thought the three centre defenders had a fairly decent game, but King yeah, he managed the situation, like you say, really well there. Impressed. Even giving away that penalty. An awful lot of the young players you've seen something like that happen, head completely down, and that's them out the game. But I thought even after that, he still put in a decent performance. And like you, I've got very high hopes for him. He's, I think right now where we are with central defenders, he's, your third choice behind Davies and Goldson going forwards until the other boys get back from injury. Only worry is, can we keep him? Because he's been highly rated for the last 3 years or something, since he was about even 15, 16. He was really highly rated.
Yeah, you've got. Well, he's getting games for Rangers, and you'd like to think going forward he'll get quite a lot of games this season. If we're going to be in a lot of competitions, we may not be in Europe as of next year, but we're in League Cup, Scottish Cup. Obviously, we're going for the title as well. So there's plenty of games for him to come in. So I expect him to get a lot of games this year. I thought he was very good for a boy of his age. His head didn't go down when he gave the penalty away. I think he'll get a lot of confidence from that game going forward. I thought Goldson was very good too. Goldson's had a bit of... he's been kind of slagged off a few times this season, but I thought he was very good. And you can tell with Davies as a natural left-sided defender beside him, there's a better balance to that backline now with Rangers. And dare I say it gives you a bit more confidence moving forward with that backline, because I thought they were... I know we get beat 2-0, but I thought they were decent. And I thought they were decent against Hearts as well. So that's a positive moving forward.
No, it was indeed, yeah. Yeah, and then the second half, another good save from McGregor, from Jota just after that penalty. The double sub gets made by us on the 60th minute mark, and this is where I think we started to see wee bits improvement from Rangers, but I think you need to caveat into that Liverpool probably did take the foot off the gas a wee bit with an eye for their game on, is it Sunday they play Arsenal? Or they play Arsenal at some point this weekend. They've done that. But the subs, I think, for me, Ali, they did make a difference. And then, yeah, there were another couple of subs towards the end with Kent, and who else came off around at that point? Was it Davies come off for Kamara? I thought we finished the game a bit stronger. But like I say, there is that wee caveat in there.
I thought we did, but I thought he could have made at 2-0, I thought he could have made more positive changes straight away. I thought he made the changes too late, to be honest. But you can flip it and say, like you're just saying there, that Liverpool, the game is done to them. They're kind of throttling back, and we had a couple of chances near the end. Rabbi Matondo playing on the left had a very good chance. I thought Sakala was bright when he came on too. So yeah, there was plus points there, but it was too little, too late for me at that point. The game is dead and buried when they boys come on. Yeah,
I mean, so yeah, that's just 3 games into the Champions League now. Pearson, we have got no points, along with two other teams in the Champions League got 0 points. It's Victoria Pleasant, who were in the group that we could have got, and Maccabi Haifa as well. We have also not scored a goal yet in the Champions League, and the only other team to not score a goal so far is Copenhagen, and they've only got 1 point as well. So where does this really leave us, Pearson? What are you expecting from the last 3 games?
I know we're going up a level, and I hear Gio up. Joshua Johnson, thank you very much.
Yeah, cheers, Joshua. Thank you very much.
Yeah, cheers, Joshua. Much appreciated. Going forward, it's Gio's come out and says we're kind of learning from it and we're improving, and I really don't see it, to be honest. I mean, like we've been scalped off the Ajax, which we were lucky to get out of that one. The Napoli game, we were competing up to 60 minutes, but at the end of the day, it did end up 3-0. And we've gone down to Anfield and really not laid a glove in them at all. So I really don't see any improvement in any of their games since the Ajax game. And the only positive that we said in the pub, Scotia, was Ajax getting pumped off Napoli gives you a very outside chance of finishing third in this group. And by that, we need to beat Liverpool on Wednesday night, which is an extremely tall order. And we need other results to go for us. But it gives us something to play for. But I just want to see him be just a bit more positive going forward with these last 3 games, because we need 3 points against Liverpool on Wednesday. And if he sets up the same team as he set up down in Anfield, we'll get nothing. He needs to be more offensive on Wednesday night to try and get something.
Yeah, well, I think beating Liverpool's a bit of a stretch, Pearson. But I agree with Aldo there that beat Ajax at home and draw with Liverpool, that should see us to third, because I think we're going to go into that last game against Ajax. What's that? The 1st of November. I think we'll go in there with them still sitting in 3 points. Because
but it goes to head to heads, does it not?
Yeah, so we'd need to beat them like 5-0 or something, wouldn't we? No, 6-0.
Nah.
So
4-0.
Yeah, 4. But not to be. Oh no, I'm only get beat 3-0 off.
Because
yeah, sorry, yeah, no. So I think we're, I've not get much hope of seeing Europe after Christmas, but you never know. Fingers crossed that we make it somehow. We'll be obviously be back after the game on Wednesday, and hopefully that'll look like it's on the horizon. But it's a hard task. Anyway, like Pearson had mentioned earlier, there was some news that came out of the club earlier this week, and that was that Robbie McCrory has signed a new contract until 2025. Ali, I'll let you have your thoughts on this before I give you mine, but what do you make of this?
I was surprised he signed it. I'd like to think he's been told in the background he's going to get a chance. What age is McCrory now? Is he 25? Must be around about 25. I'm guessing he's 25.
He's 24 still, I believe.
Right, okay. It's 24 then. Yeah, I was surprised, to be honest. I thought he might have looked at this season as his chance, and he's not got it. So I thought he might have went, no, I'll try somewhere else. But he's signed, so I would think he's been told in the background he's got a chance next season. But we need to give the boy a chance. He's been here for God knows how many years. He's been out on loan umpteen times. This season, he's hardly. Has he had game time at all? I don't think he's actually played this year. I don't know. This season. I don't know if he played that even the League Cup game. I don't think he did. But yeah, does he want to sit and be the third Rangers number 3 goalkeeper and pick a wage up? I don't think he's that type of boy. I think he'd like to play. So yeah, it'll be interesting going forward with him to see what's happening, because he's not going to play this season at the moment, and next season McGregor won't be there. So maybe he's been told, look, hold on, next season you'll get a chance. So we'll just need to wait and see. I still think we need to sign a goalkeeper though for next season.
Yeah, I'm pleased that he has signed, because I was getting a wee bit worried that it was going to be a situation where we would lose him, because he would be looking at his brother up getting game time constantly, and he's not. He is only 24. McGregor was 24, 25 when he actually broke in through to the first team. So he's, there's similarities there with him and McGregor in terms of that. I'm glad he signed. I would have preferred that this season, like similar to what I was saying, with McGregor being given this extra year, which we've probably needed going the way things have went this season, but it's kind of pushed him down a wee bit in order, where he's not maybe getting these cup games. Hopefully going forward we'll maybe see a wee bit more of him. But I was pleased with this signing, because I've got hopes that McCrory could kind of step up and fill the void, because listen, we're both about the same age, Ali, that ever since we've been watching Rangers, we've always had a succession of good goalkeepers. There's never really been a big, massive gap in between. Worried about that position. So I'd like to see that
part of the banter years,
McCrory could do that as well. Oh, well, I kind of blank them out, Pearson. I think everybody does.
Cammy Bell. Remember that?
Yeah. Indeed, yeah. So it's good to see that he was signing that contract. It'll be interesting to see how the goalkeeper situation now unfolds, in terms of, where is McLaughlin? Is he now completely done, or is he still in the manager's plans? It'll be interesting to see what you think about that.
Remember, we play Dundee coming up soon in the League Cup. Was it Tuesday night? I think we play them at Ibrox. It's a mad time of 8:15 because it's on the telly, but that's a game you'd assume McLaughlin will play on McCrory, but you'd assume one of them will play that game. because it's Dundee, it's in the League Cup, it's at Ibrox, so they shouldn't be getting much action. So I'd imagine he'll switch the goalkeeper for that game.
Yeah, I was also, but once we get on to our teams, I was did have in the back of my mind about tomorrow as well, for who plays in goals for tomorrow, because
Yeah,
I don't think McGregor. I think McGregor's maybe even come out and said at times that he probably does need to be, like, not pick and choose his games, but he's not going to be at the stage where he can play in every week. So it'll be interesting to see that. But Pearson, before we got on to the preview with St Mirren tomorrow, you had messaged us just before we started that there was a wee bit of news about the Sky matches picked for TV. Do you want to let everyone know what those were?
Yeah, over the Christmas period, there's been 3 games that have been penciled in for TV. I'll start from the end one, and we'll end on the one that's kind of a bizarre one that me and Scotia thought. But the Old Firm, 2nd of January, which it was always penciled in on a Monday, 12:30 kick-off, no surprises there. The Ross County game, which was Christmas Eve on the Saturday, has been moved forward to the Friday, the 23rd at 7:30, which is decent. Because Christmas Eve for all the lads going up there isn't ideal, so that gives them a day to recover from their hangovers before they hit Christmas for them. So that's good for them. But the bizarre one that we were talking about before coming on, Scotia, was the Hibs game at Ibrox, which was originally penciled in for the Saturday the 17th, has now been moved for Sky to Thursday, December the 15th at 8:00, which I thought it was bizarre, because I couldn't tell you the last time a league game was moved from a Saturday back to a Thursday for Sky. It's a weird one, and I know you'll come on to a lot of boys that penciled that in for Christmas nights out, but it's a wee bit bizarre, that one, isn't it?
Oh, massively. Like, before I get to that one, the Ross County one, I think's a good move in all fronts, because you don't want to be playing up in Dingwall on Christmas Eve. I think that's good for any travelling Bears going up, that, you know, it gives them the chance to get back home in time for Christmas. Because if it was on the 24th, an awful lot of people would have just said, no travelling up, because it's too much a hassle to get back in time for Christmas. Celtic one, no surprises there. I think I didn't even realise that it was scheduled for 3:00.
It's not changed.
I was just assumed it would be 12:30 anyway. But yeah, the Hibs one is really, really strange that they're moving it from the Saturday to the Thursday. Like you said before we started, have we ever played a league game, certainly in the Premiership, on a Thursday evening? Not that I can remember.
It's bizarre, and I mean, I said to you, the only thing you can say as a benefit is I know it is the first game back after the World Cup, isn't it?
Gone to that. It is still the World Cup, so
I know, but
USA aren't in the latter stages, because we'll have a couple of players away.
Can I see that? But the only benefit is moving it to the Thursday, as we play Aberdeen on the Tuesday, the following Tuesday, so it gives you more recovery time for that. But it's just a bit bizarre, a Thursday night Ibrox, when, like I said to you, a lot of lads who have their Christmas nights out would have penciled that Saturday against Hibs. They might have thought they'd make a day of it, but it's been moved to the Thursday. And I was asking you, where are Celtic playing? Have they been moved? And they're the Saturday, so we're playing 2 days before. I mean, you could say that's another advantage, to be honest, for us, but we're playing 2 days before them in the league. But it's a bizarre one, because it's a home game too. An away game, you could kind of go, even it'd still be bizarre at that point, but a home game. So yeah, it's a weird one. And I know Sky's got the contract going forward, and they can play more games than this. I hope they're not going to be playing about with Saturday games by doing this going forward, because that'll really annoy people, because 3:00 on a Saturday is when you want to go to the football. So for a lot of guys, that'll be a pain in the arse, that game, moved to a Thursday, 8:00 at night.
Yeah, this was a wee bit of worry I had as well with the Kenny Sky deal, in terms of that they were going to have to start moving about these games. And if we're being honest, as Rangers fans, we've been very lucky that all our home games at Ibrox, when they can be played at 3:00 on a Saturday, you know, if there isn't any other football on in the Thursday evening for the Europa League or things like that, they generally always were. They were never really moved about for TV. Obviously, as Rangers fans, we get treated really well with that. I know fans of other clubs would moan that all their games are always getting moved about for telly, but we're Rangers fans. It's all about us. But it's just a strange one, and the fact that Celtic are away to Aberdeen at 3:00 that Saturday as well.
Are they not on the telly?
No, it's a 3:00 against Aberdeen on the Saturday. You just tend to think that that's maybe the way they would move it. But like I say, because they've put in these extra games now and things, we're going to feel this a wee bit more often, I think, in terms of moving our games. If I'm honest, I would have probably preferred them to move it to the Friday night. That would have been a bit better. For the weekend and stuff.
Yeah, I could see the Friday night one, but the Thursday to me is just a bit bizarre, to be honest. I know the World Cups is the first game after the World Cup, and that's what they'll look at. But it's for a fan looking forward to a Saturday, especially a lot of guys would have looked at that and went first game back Saturday 3:00, Christmas time, perfect. But Thursday 8:00, guys taking their kids and that, it's not ideal. Folk working too. It's it'll feel like a Europa League game. We need to get that tune on.
That's what I think. Yeah, Rangers and Tour, I think I'd mentioned that earlier. Yeah, but that's the thing as well. An awful lot of the guys that are coming across from Northern Ireland, they'll have penciled that in first game back Saturday. They might have booked up already, and they're having to change their plans. I suppose it's the age we live in, with games getting televised and having fit into the schedule that Sky want us to play, which is why you would maybe have liked to went out to tender a wee bit and not compete against these teams, but at least it's not clashing with Sky's main priorities. But yeah, those games have been changed. But one game that hasn't been changed, the game against St Mirren tomorrow, 3:00 at Ibrox, which we may as well have a wee look at that one. St Mirren sitting third after a really decent run of 5 wins out of the last 6 that they've had, with those wins coming against Livy, Hibs, Dundee United, Ross County, and also Celtic. They've only had 3 defeats in the league this season against Aberdeen, Motherwell, and St Johnstone. Yeah, they're looking pretty tidy, Ali, because if I'm being honest, at the very start of the season, after the wee League Cup group section had get played, I had touted St Mirren to be one of the teams that were fighting out for relegation, but they've managed to come good quite recently, which I think Gio alluded to in his presser. I've not really watched any of them, but I know you sat and watched their game against Celtic. Do you want to give us your insights into how you think St Mirren are doing?
Yeah, I think that obviously their form speaks for itself. They're sitting third in the league. Playing decent. Stephen Robinson's the manager there. Used to manage Motherwell. It's getting a tune out of them. But I actually did sit and watch them against that mob fella side, and they played really well, to be honest. I know a lot of folk would usually look at results like that and think, or even if it happened to us, that Celtic Rangers battered the team and they had 2 lucky breaks on that. But St Mirren were extremely comfortable that game against Celtic, to be honest. I know Celtic made changes, but they were very comfortable. And they play with a lot of energy. I was actually impressed with St Mirren. I mean, I don't take my time out to sit and watch St Mirren, but it just so happened they were playing Celtic and there was nothing on. I thought I'll actually sit down and watch this. And obviously they beat Celtic, which was good. But yeah, I was impressed with St Mirren. I mean, obviously they're playing where they play. It's I don't know what the name of their stadium is now. They change the name all the time, but it's quite a tight wee park down there. Come to Ibrox in the big park. Should obviously suit us, but yeah, they'll be full of confidence in Mirren coming to Ibrox, and I don't think they'll set up as defensive as some teams come to Ibrox, i.e. St Johnstone's and all that. I don't think they'll play that way. They've got a boy up front. I forgot his name, but he looked decent, and their right back, I think it was going up and down the channels too. So yeah, I think they'll not fancy themselves, but I think they'll be confident coming to Ibrox tomorrow, and I think it'll be a good game.
I think if I'm thinking about the boy you're thinking about up front, Ayungu, I think he was called. He gets sent off against Livingston. Yeah. He gets sent off against Livingston last week, so he will not be playing.
Was he out? That's a bonus.
Yeah, he'll be out tomorrow. But obviously they've got big Curtis Main up there. One of the normals. I get what you're saying. They sort of set up like a 3-5-2, but it's one of these ones that can easily become a 5-3-2. When needed.
Yeah, their wing backs try and go up and down a wee bit.
Yeah, like how you would, like a 3-5-2 should be, because I know as Rangers fans, we probably got like that formation cemented in their heads as a 5-4-1, given the way that Walter's team in the late 2000s played. But yeah, it'll be an interesting game. Gio was asked about St Mirren in the presser, and he said they've had a great start. They're doing well. He said they're having a great start. I disagreed with that because, like I said, they were off to a terrible start with that wee League Cup thing. But they've come good in the league, and as we said, really good recently. Another couple of, not even the most important thing to take away from the press conference today, in my books anyway, but the injury news we were given: Pearson, no really real big shocks. Lawrence, nowhere further forward or backward than what we knew last week. Pretty much all the squad is back to normal. Only one thing that was good to hear was Big Kemar Roof is back available for selection. How long will that last?
Kemar Roof. I actually seen photos of him training today. Wasn't sure if it was a cardboard cutout of him or not, but Kemar Roof. How long's Kemar Roof been out for? He's been out since, I think, must be a good 5 months at least. But Kemar Roof, he's back in training, obviously, but he's way down the pecking order now. Kemar Roof. I mean, we were talking about Big Cholak coming in as the third striker to replace Big Cedric Itton.
I wasn't.
Kemar Roof. I know. Well, maybe you weren't, Scotia. Me and Carney were, maybe Ryan, but Kemar Roof's way down the pecking order now. He's a good option, Kemar Roof, when he's fit, but I'm not pinning my hopes on Kemar Roof. He's unfortunately he is made of glass at times and just breaks down all the time. So, it'll be interesting to see what happens with Kemar Roof going for the next couple of weeks, because if he's back in training, I don't know when we'll see Kemar Roof. I really don't. We can't trust Kemar Roof going forward, and that's not slagging Kemar Roof. It's just unfortunately the way his body's built. But if he's fit and available, yes, he's a bonus for us moving forward. But how many games will we get out of him before he breaks down again?
Yeah, I don't know. I know Gallant Pioneer there was saying that he's not sure if Roof was available for selection. So I've maybe just picked.
No, he's not ready. He's not ready. He's just back
right
in training. That's all it is.
Just back in training, right? Because one of the reasons I maybe thought that was that one of the questions that really intrigued me in the press conference today was, will we see Alfie and Cholak playing the same starting lineup? And Gio came out with a phrase that, it tickled me. Everything is possible. And, I liked what he said about that, Pearson, because I've kind of screamed out for it on a few occasions this season. But do you think he was just playing a wee bit to the person that asked that question, or do you think we'll ever see that?
I think he's kind of done that to shut that question down, because he's going to get it all the time, isn't he? Because he's heard it from them from day one since Big Cholak's been kind of scoring. So yeah, will he start with a Morelos Cholak? I mean, I'd love to see it, to be honest, but will he do it? I don't think so. He might do it during a game. If Cholak starts, I could see him bring Morelos on and having the two of them during the game, starting it. I can't see it. I just think he's got his philosophy, Gio, and he'll stick to it. So, yeah, I think he was doing it to kind of shut that question down going forward.
Yeah, I think at the moment we don't have the players available that would really suit. Like if you're playing like a 3-5-2 kind of formation, we don't really have the players. We need more attacking midfielders, which at the minute we're really just down to Tillman, because I've seen CGM there to say that you mentioned Lowry. Yes, he did. He did say that Lowry is kind of getting there and he should be back within the next couple of weeks, I think he said, if I can recall correctly. But he should be back fairly soon, Lowry, which is really good, because when he got that injury, who was it he was playing? It was Ryan's cousin. Was he not? I know they weren't. Oh no, they were playing Dumbarton. Yeah, they were playing Dumbarton at Dumbarton, and that was a really nasty challenge. So it's good to hear that he's not too far away, because when we go on to the teams, it's one of these discussions around, is it time to start bleeding in some of the youngsters, because as we've said before, it is a really packed schedule up until we break up for the World Cup. But before we get to our teams and score predictions, Ali, any thoughts on how you want Kenny Rangers to approach it without giving away your team too much?
I want them to take the game to St Mirren as soon as we kick off tomorrow, and I want them to go for them. I want them to put a performance in. I mean, I thought they were good against Hearts Rangers. It depends on what team he picks, but as soon as we start off tomorrow, I want to see a high intensity for Rangers, moving the ball quick and getting that early goal, which always helps against teams like this. But no, I'm confident tomorrow going. I mean, we should be confident. We're playing St Mirren at the end of the day. If we can't be confident playing St Mirren, we might as well pack it in now. So, no, I think they'll be up for it, Rangers. Liverpool coming up Wednesday at Ibrox as well. So there might be a couple of players in there thinking, I've maybe got a wee chance to show something here for Wednesday night coming up as well. So, and I think he'll say that to a few of them. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And I'm intrigued what he does with the team. I mean, I've got my team, which I'll come on to, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and I'm confident tomorrow. Confident. I'm not going to do any wild predictions like I did that time when it says Rangers will not concede, and they conceded bloody 2 goals against Ross County. So don't worry, I will not be saying anything like that tonight. But I'm confident. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going into the game fairly confident, just given our previous form in the league. I may add in the league against St Mirren, because the less is said about that game. Was it the League Cup we played them where we get beat? The less said about that, the better.
Was at Striplow, Scotia, remember?
Yeah, it was. Yes, that was a poor night, that wasn't it? But no, I'm hoping we kind of have a bit of a go. I don't want to see 2 sitting central defensive midfielders, but we probably will. Yeah. And in fact, to be fair, my team, without spoiling my team does have that in it. But I don't think at the minute, because obviously, like you mentioned there about Lawrence being injured, that's a massive blow in terms of how we play, because the other midfielders we've got, they are a wee bit more defensive minded. But I'm hoping we have a go. It's at Ibrox. It's 3:00, so we should really be up for it. And I think they want to get back to winning ways. And after the game at Anfield there, because we did think going in with a 4-0 win over Hearts would give us a wee bit of belief, which didn't really materialise on Tuesday night. But again, it's at the return leg against Liverpool's at Ibrox again, so hopefully go out, put a good performance, good result, and yeah, we'll hopefully take that into the game on Wednesday night. So I know we're not quite at the hour mark yet, Pearson, but it's only the 2 of us, so that was always kind of going to happen. But we can round up with giving our own teams and selections. I see a few guys have put some in the comments there, so while you're rounding yours off, I'll fire some out from them.
I'll give you my team, but I'm also going to throw a suggestion at you, Scotia, for this number 10 type player that we don't really have, because Lawrence is injured. Tillman isn't really doing it, and obviously Lowry's injured as well. So I'll throw a wild suggestion out, right? And you can all laugh at me, but I'll throw it out. But before I do that, my team for tomorrow is McGregor in goal, a back line of Tav, Goldson, Davies, Ryan. Sit down for a wee second here. Yilmaz at left back, because I think Barisic doesn't deserve to be dropped, but this boy needs to play at some point. So I'm bringing Yilmaz in, looking forward to Wednesday for Barisic to come back in. Scotia, the 2 sitting midfielders, which we don't need, but Lindstrom with his pal Jack beside him. Malik Tillman, who I kind of slaughtered earlier on. If he can't play in this game, he can't play. So I've got Tillman sitting just in front as a 10. And a front 3 I've got of Matondo, Cholak and Kent. Now, before you come to your team, Scotia, I was just going to float something, right? I've got Tillman as at 10, if you want to say, just behind the strikers, right? What would you think of this, right? Say a Lundstrom and Jack, Matondo on the left, Sakala on the right, and Ryan Kent playing that 10 behind Cholak in the middle. Do you think that could work as an experiment?
I'm waiting for Curry Muncher to get up here in the comments with this one.
Probably think I've bumped my head. But I'm just thinking I could see him playing, and because he comes inside a lot of the time, you see Ryan Kent with the ball in that area a lot of the time. And I thought against teams like St Mirren, I think he could play there and put Matondo on the left and Sakala out on the right.
I'll give my thoughts, then I'll let Curry Muncher have the final words here. But For me, not. I know what you're saying, that he's always inside there, but that's because he's running into those positions from the kind of direction that he wants. It's kind of similar that if you play like one of your wing backs up in the midfield area, it doesn't really work because they're not running into their normal space. No, I don't think that Kent would be the answer there. And yeah, as
I'm not saying he's the answer, but I just think, I wonder if he would try it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Doesn't like him.
No, not at all. Because he slated us, because we said just before we'd stopped for the international break there, we'd said we'd slated the game that Kent had played in, and then I think all of us for the Hearts game there picked Kent in our starting lineups for that, which he actually played pretty decently, that Hearts game. But a bit frustrating on Tuesday night there. But anyway, yeah, my team fairly similar to yours. I'm going McGregor. I don't know if he plays King in it right back. I was thinking about maybe Devine.
No, I'm King at right back. I think you've hit
your
head, Scotia. Christ.
I'll put Devine in there because I think Tav could do with the rest, so I'll play Devine in there. Goldson, Davies. I was leaning towards Yilmaz, but then Borna comes out and does the press conferences for the player today. But I think
I've seen that before, Scotia. That doesn't mean he's playing though, right?
Yeah, stick with that. Same kind of middle as you. Lundstrom, Jack with Tillman sitting as the 10 there. And then up top for me, I'm going Matondo out on the left, Čolak through the middle, and Sakala out on the right. Because I think Sakala, the wee cameos that he showed recently, he deserves a wee
Scotia. You're an absolute shite bag. You've just
got all the boys in the comments.
That's why.
Oh, right. No, but I would play. I would play. No, because I think he's worked his way back into Gio's thoughts. I think.
Yeah, I know. I 100% agree with you. I mean, I like that front three. I'd play Sakala as well because the last two games he's come on, including the Liverpool game, he's shown a bit of urgency. And you know, with Sakala, he's only one way he can go. It's forward. He can't go backwards. So, and he's unpredictable. And I'd like to see Sakala get a run, but at the same time, Matondo needs a run as well. And I don't think he's going to drop Ryan Kent. And as much as the guys in the comments will hate me to say it, I don't think he will drop Kent. And he alluded today when he was asked the question about putting Ryan Kent out on the right and playing Matondo on the left. And he kind of came back and went, well, but Ryan Kent's better on the left. So he kind of answered that question by saying he's not moving. So it'll be interesting to see what he does. But I just can't see him dropping Ryan Kent. I really can't. And here's another guy for you. Scott Wright. He's just fallen away too. Where's he going?
No, he has. Yeah, he has. Yeah, I pulled up Gallant Pioneers comment there from when I named 12 players in my starting lineup. I certainly did because I caught on it before all the rest of them did. I'd named 12 players that day. So I did manage to correct myself after the first, 5-10 minutes. There's actually, before we get to the scores, Brian, I don't know if we'll be in the Viceroy tomorrow because all the trains are, obviously, we didn't mention that, but all the trains are kind of buggered tomorrow. So, like, I think the last train that I can get home's at 5:30. So I'd need to join the Subway Loyal and leave after about 5 minutes of the second half. So we
might be in, Brian. I'll get Scotia to bring a signed photo of himself for you. Don't worry.
Yeah. Did you give me a score, Pearson?
No, I haven't.
You did. No.
I'll give you my score. 3-0 Rangers. And he's got to score. Big Čolak again.
Right. No, that's I like that result. I know I've went for 4-0 with Čolak to score first quite a few times early in the season. It never materialised, and then we play Hearts, it does it. So this time I'm going 5-0 Rangers with Čolak to score first. I think that we could go out and put in a good performance. So that's what I'm going for. Yes. So thank you, everyone in the comments. As I say, we've just nearly reached the hour mark. We've managed to drag that out. But thank you, everyone in the comments. Thank you also for who was it? Justin and was it Brian? No, who was it that also donated? Pearson, can you remember? Apologies.
Justin.
You can see that I'm new to this. No, it was Justin. Joshua.
Yeah, and Justin. Justin's always in.
Justin.
All the way for the United States of America. God bless America.
Yeah, thank you guys for donating. As we always say, really appreciate it. It's really humbling when you do that. And then finally, before we leave, thank you to my guest, Alistair Pearson, as well.
No problem. I just seen Ryan's in the group in the chat there in the corner, so he's been proud of the B team. I hope we put in a great performance for you, Ryan. We're missing you and Carney. Maybe we should do this every Friday. The B team, have a B team selection.
Only if my score prediction comes in.
Yeah, we'll do that. If Rangers win 5-0, it would just mean Scotia next week again. But no, you've done well, Scotia, hosting that, pressing all the buttons as well. So can they be proud of you? So you've stepped up to the mark. But no, thanks to everyone in the comments. Aye, it's over to you, Rangers, tomorrow, and hopefully we get a positive performance and a positive result tomorrow too.
Yeah, no, thank you, everyone. I would just like to apologise for the wee glitch at the start with my very slow internet connection.
His
I
dad
don't
wasn't
think that's
cycling
getting
quick
sorted.
enough.
Don't think that's getting sorted anytime soon. But no, thank you, everyone, for joining in the comments. Much appreciated, and I hope your team wins tomorrow.